This episode of the Game Changers podcast is brought to you by Game Changers Merch. Check out our special St Lucian Independence Edition on our website and available locally in St Lucia for only 50 EC dollars. Get yours today. Hello everybody and welcome to yet another St Lucian Independence episode of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Quinn Seshis and it's a privilege and pleasure to be here with you as usual. My next guest is a young man who is truly transformational. His name is Ashley Joseph and he has showcased how St. Lucians can truly make their name on the big screen. You'll hear his amazing story how he is bringing St. Lucian excellence to the BBC. Here is his amazing story. Hey Ashley, man. How are you, man?
I'm well, man. I'm good. I'm blessed. Yeah, man. Happy to be here.
Beautiful. All right, so tell my audience just a little bit about yourself, some general information.
Yeah, man. My name's Ashley Joseph. I'm a British-born St Lucian living in London. I'm an actor, writer, and presenter. I've worked on BBC in shows such as Jojo and Gran Gran, Justin's House, Eastenders, Doctors. I've done films. I've done a lot of theatre as well. I'm a Royal Television Society award-winning writer. And I do a lot of projects, man, a lot of comedy, and I do a lot of work with the St. Lucian High Commission and the St. Lucian Tourism Authority. I'm doing lots of presenting work as well, most recently hosting the Julian Alfred celebration event in London.
Wow, beautiful. Everybody's getting in on that Jojo mania.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We have to.
All right. So tell me how you got into writing and acting and directing and all of those things.
Yeah, so it started mainly with acting and dancing when I was young. I was about 11, 12 years old, and a local youth theatre was running some opportunities. And my sister had been helping me out with some stuff, and I auditioned for the youth theatre and got in. And from there, I kept just pushing my youth theatre work, working with another company called Boy Blue as a hip-hop dancer, and just started meeting people and getting opportunities, as well as still going to school and studying at the same time. And that started to grow by meeting people in the industry, getting more auditions. And when I was about 18, 19, I got the opportunity to present for MTV, which kind of led me on to other stuff. And I guess as it's grown, as you do in this industry, you start meeting more people. People hear about your work
Right.
as an actor and a presenter. With regards to the writing, I started writing because I kind of got fed up, especially in London, of playing a lot of the same parts. There was a lot of parts around like youth violence and knife crime and gun crime, and I didn't want to always do those parts. So I started writing comedy, sketches. And from there, just kept nurturing that talent as well, and also just trying to make sure I had several different sources of income, because the entertainment industry is not easy, and bills have to get paid. The bills don't stop. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened. And then in 2019, I'm jumping a lot, but in 2019 I got an opportunity to audition for a show called Jojo and Gran Gran, which is the first Black British animated series about a St. Lucian family. And I got a part on the show voicing a cartoon character. And as time was going on and going on there, and I got knowing the producers and the directors, and they offered me the opportunity to come and write on the second series. And from that, I got commissioned. To write 9 episodes. One was the St. Lucia special. I co-wrote the St. Lucia special with the amazing Gemma Weeks, who lives in St. Lucia. So big up Gemma. And from there I won an award, but that started to spiral, and I got more offers to write for other TV shows, and I got a literary agent as well who helped get my name out there. So I guess that's kind of how things worked. It started with the acting and the dancing, and then the presenting, and then the directing and the writing as well. And I'm just doing it all now. I'm doing it all. I don't want them to tell me I'm one thing. I'm everything.
You're right. And that's beautiful, man. I like how you kind of shift throughout those things, and you have so many things at one time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the best way in this industry of learning so many different things. If you were just a carpenter, all you could do is work with wood. But if wood,
Right.
stops happening tomorrow, if you had the skills of electrics or, other things like that, then it would make a huge difference for you. So I think that's what I see in this industry. If there was no acting tomorrow, I could still write, or I could still present, or I can still direct and produce and keep adding to it. And it just makes you a better all round creative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, as somebody with Caribbean roots, how does that influence your artistic choices?
Oh man, so much, so much. If I hear about a project that has any type of Caribbean connection to it, I want to be involved. It's so important for me
Right.
to fly the flag for, the British-born St Lucians, how we are living life over here and what we are doing. Also, I think there's so many things that being raised by my nan, my grandmother, just things, and my grandfather, things that have just come into me naturally because of that. The integrity, walking with pride, putting your best foot forward, your ethics. And so in all that I want to do, I want to make sure that I'm a black man that stands for that shows that and reflects not just my London community, but my St. Lucian heritage as well within what I do. So it's really important for me to do those things, which is why a project like Jojo and Gran Gran, it just jumped at me, and I just said I had to do it. I had to be a part of it, and to be able to write episodes that were based on my family and about my grandmother and things that she would say that I've been able to put in TV and immortalize. The amount of times I've heard my nan come and say, I'm not stopping, I'm just passing, and those things there is just
Right.
so part of our culture. So it's a big part of who I am. When the St. Lucian Tourism Authority or the St. Lucian High Commission call me and ask me to do an event, the first thing I say is yes, because I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the people that are ambassadors and represent in St. Lucia. So yeah, it's huge for me. It's huge for me. It means a lot to get opportunities to wear that with pride.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what was it like then writing for children, though? Because I know it's a children's
Yeah, yeah,
series
yeah,
mainly.
yeah.
So, what was it like writing for
You
children?
know what, writing for children's series is a lot of fun, man. It's just pure joy. Like there's no, you're not writing no crime thriller, you're not living in no dark places,
Right.
it's not crazy in your head. And I guess it came at the perfect time for me because I have two sons. And so my
Got you.
boys are 8 and 4, but when I started writing for them about 4 years ago, my youngest would have been just born and my eldest was 4. And so it was great, like
Hmm.
testing out ideas on them, asking them ideas and their thoughts about things. And then when the shows came out, watching it with them, it was great. They were the perfect ages for that. So to write for children's television, I think was a really good time for me in my career and also at my stage as a father. But yeah, it's fun, man. And you can just play. You can just have any ideas. Like, the
Right.
possibility, the imagination of a child. If you think back to being young yourself, you didn't have all these, constraints that we have and, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. And if I had enough money, we don't think like that as children. We just play and just do a vibe. And I was able to just enjoy being a child again. Really, to be honest, it was fun.
Absolutely. All right. So, why then is it important to have quality programming for
Mm,
children, particularly programming that aligns with culture
mm.
for children?
It's the reason why it's so important is the thing that comes to me is if you can't see it, you can't be it. And I remember growing up,
Right.
um, here and not really seeing a lot of shows, a lot of British shows that reflected just different cultures, not even just St. Lucian culture or just black people, just any other culture other than white or English. And when we was getting other things like that, it'd be American shows. So then you're still feeling a connection, but a little bit removed because it's an American show. And so just from writing Jojo and Gran Gran and working on it and being a character, has a universal appeal, but it's so specific. So you're also introducing the rest of the world to a culture. So then that's not alien for other
Right.
people. So it's not just about the children who are getting to see themselves or the parents or the grandparents. You know, we had people writing into the show saying that their parents, as in the grandparents, had been crying like tears of joy because they'd never seen something like this before, which is groundbreaking. But also, we had people of all different races and ethnicities watching this show, you know, looking up green fig and saltfish recipes, you know, which is beautiful. There were families from Poland making recipes like that. And so for me, that's the beautiful thing that actually is so important, not just for the people that are from that place or children whose heritage is of there, but other children who don't know about St. Lucia or don't know about the Caribbean, or, you know, there are still people that believe St. Lucia's in Jamaica. It's like they're two different countries.
Right.
Come on, wake up. Yeah,
Come on.
wake up. Come on now. So those things there is why it's important to make shows like this for all cultures, not just to represent, but also inform and educate.
Absolutely. So then, what was it like growing up as a individual with St. Lucian heritage, but in England? What was it like for you?
Bro, it's crazy. You know, it really was because you know you weren't British enough, but you never felt St. Lucian enough. It was that real thing of
Ah,
being pulled between two
lost between two worlds.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, there were just things I just assumed that everyone had. You know, I remember talking to one of my friends at school who was British, and they're talking about a Sunday dinner. And I was like, yeah, I love Sunday dinner. They said, me too. And they started listing different things. And they were, you know, saying the chicken, the potatoes. I was like, yeah, the plantain, you know. And it was like, the plantain? I was like, well, you don't have plantain. And it was just little things like this, always constantly feeding between two worlds. And I remember the first time I went to St. Lucia when I was 10, I was there for 6 weeks and felt at home, but in an unknown place. And that was really interesting for me because I felt a part of something, but also felt a bit of distance. And so it's a very interesting thing because you're raised in a St. Lucian household, but you're going to school and interacting with people in London, in the UK, and I mean, even still up until probably, yeah, now still not as much, but you still get people that go to where are you from, and that question is so loaded. It's like, where am I from? Okay, well, I was born here, but I'm St. Lucian, like, but I'm not St. Lucian, but I am St. Lucian, and I'm not
Right.
English, but I am English, and so now I just always say, as you hear, I'm a British-born St. Lucian because I feel part of so many different things. You know, there are some days where I'll eat saltfish, but then, you know, there's other days where I might eat something else that's a bit more British, or I might eat an Italian meal because I'm living in London. It's such a
Right.
crazy melting pot of different cultures. But what I am starting to learn and more that I've been, I guess, embraced a lot more from the High Commission and the Tourism Authority for St. Lucia is that, you know, sometimes it's not about where you was born, it's about where your heart is. And in my heart, I feel
Absolutely.
so connected to St. Lucia, especially from what my nan and grandfather instilled in me, you know.
Absolutely. Now I know that you are part of a musical, the Get Up Stand Up musical.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah, 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 yeah.
A Bob Marley music. What was that experience like?
Yeah, man. Listen, I was the resident and then became co-associate director on the show. And for me, again, when this opportunity came to me, it was a show about, you know, a Caribbean story, heritage, roots, also standing up for what is right, you know, the things that Bob spoke about in his music and just the man that he was and still is within his legacy. So being able to do a show where I was working with an amazing cast of people, the cast was almost 100% black, which is rare in London to have a whole team on stage that's black. Um, bar two characters was just a beautiful thing, and to really be able to delve into his music and tell these stories and explore that was incredible, and also to be on the West End, that telling a show about a black man whose music has transcended like race, time, politics. It just sits everywhere. To be able to be at the helm of that and be a part of the creative team on that, it was a godsend. It really, really was. It was a honor to do those things. To be able to put your skills and talents to something that you believe in is such an honor and such a
Right.
blessing. So yeah, that show, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. Some days there was pure drama, but I would not change working on that show. It really was an honor to do and such an experience in my life and my career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wasn't there with you, but I can tell that you enjoyed that.
Yeah, man, it was wicked. It really, really was. And just, I can't listen to Bob's music the same way,
Right.
and my wife is of Jamaican heritage. So last Christmas we went down to Jamaica
Ah,
and we saw where, Peter Tosh is buried and just yeah, it just became even more of a spiritual experience. And just feeling that connection again to the Caribbean and knowing that from this whole part of the world, there's so much talent and richness that is coming out of the Caribbean community and the diaspora. It's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. Yeah, having Caribbean heritage, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for nothing, man.
for sure. I love that, man. All right. So we're moving on to one of my favorite segments of a Game Changers podcast. It's called the Quick Hitters.
Ooh,
So quick hitters are rapid fire
okay,
questions. So answer them as quickly as possible.
okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, from the top. So first quick hitter question. If you could collaborate with any artist, whether it be a writer, an actor, or a director, who would it be and why?
Oh, it'd have to be. I'm gonna say Denzel Washington.
Okay,
Denzel, yeah,
why?
just because of his experience, his gravitas, what he can do on screen and behind the camera. I can work with him as an actor and a director. That's two for the price of one.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like that. Next quick hitter question. What is something fun or surprising that most people don't know about you?
Oh, I can ski. I'm probably one of the. Yeah, I
Wow.
can ski. That's a surprise. I'm a 2-star silver skier. So yeah, I don't know. I've never met another St Lucian that can ski actually.
All right. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
rarity. I mean, we don't have snow here, so for sure, for sure. All right. Final quick hitter question, and this is a game changer staple. Who would you like to see on this podcast?
Oh, who would I like to see on this podcast? Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. Okay, I've got to answer as quick as possible. Who would I want to see on this podcast? I would choose, I'm going to say Gemma Weeks, who I think would be
Okay,
really
cool.
interesting. Incredible writer who is of St Lucian heritage, British born, but now lives back in St Lucia. She's incredible.
Okay, 100%. Once you give me the link, I'll make it
Yeah,
happen
man.
for sure.
Wicked.
All right, bro. So we're quickly moving along. In your career, I know you would have had so many circumstances and challenges. What were some of the main challenges that you faced as somebody from Caribbean, but more specifically St. Lucian heritage
Oh,
in your field?
really good question. Gosh, from Caribbean heritage, I think definitely stereotypes in the career. Just especially starting out early on, just the perception of things that we know that the angry black man, or especially one of the other things is there's this energy that all Caribbean men are just some type of Lothario, just gonna always be out here for gal, gal, gal. Those and in my industry, at times when you're doing performances and there's energy and people love what you're doing, sometimes you can get people throwing themselves at you in a certain way, that for me,
Right.
I'm never interested in. I'm like, do the show, get off, go home. Go home.
Right.
So that's definitely been a challenge. And I think also, yeah, how people perceive you. I think I've had to work very hard in an industry that is not necessarily dominated by, well, dominated isn't the right word, but I guess it's not as densely populated with St. Lucians or Caribbeans. So you can
Mhm.
feel a minority in a space. And so then you have to carry yourself a bit safer in that sense of if I'm a bit frustrated with something and I say that, am I going to be perceived as angry? Or if I'm just 1 minute
Yes.
late, am I going to be seen as unreliable? You sometimes overthink things.
Got you.
And so actually it's just sometimes getting out of your own head, part of it, but also understanding how to navigate this industry confidently. It's got a lot better now. And I'm talking about things that are probably 10 to 15 years old. But that definitely was challenges, especially that no one taught you that. I just had to learn it along the way, you know?
Absolutely. So, having known that now, what advice would you give to maybe a younger version of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yourself? Having known that.
I would say some things are not as big as you seem. So take a moment,
Mm.
breathe, um, write it before you say it, read it, think about it, then say it. Um, I'd definitely say that. And another thing I would say is you ain't got to worry. You're gonna have a good career.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think young writers, young directors can listen to that and still take that advice for themselves because it's the
Mhm.
reality. And it's the reality not just for writers and directors or people in the creative space, but it's the reality for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, it's important to take your time and trust the process.
Absolutely.
That's basically what we're saying.
Trust the process and enjoy the journey. You know, you can't focus too much on the
Yes.
destination, which I still find myself doing now. Like, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and I need because if I'm not there, then it means I haven't done this and I haven't done that. I need to enjoy the journey because I can look back in 10 years and go, oh man, I wish I enjoyed when I was at this part a lot more. So being present and enjoying the journey is such an important thing as well.
Absolutely. All right. We're moving on to the back end. Who or what inspires you to keep creating?
Oh, good question. One of my closest friends and longtime collaborators, which she is now known in the industry as my work wife, and everyone calls me her work husband. Her name's Jade Hackett, and Jade is a British-born Jamaican, and we have worked together so many times, and she just constantly inspires me and pushes me to do more, to be better. We keep upping each other's ideas, and also my sister. Um, my sister is I wouldn't be where I am without my sister. Just the daily conversations we have, the way she'll talk to me about stuff. I usually am like, oh, I'm not doing enough or I'm not there. She's like, you need to see yourself from my eyes. She really speaks goodness into me. She knows how to fill my cup. God made no mistakes when he gave her to me. Well, she came first as well. So he even let me come second. He let her make more mistakes, you know what I mean,
Right.
to help me out. So that's a blessing. And then with regards to inspiration, it can just be like anything. Like in a day, it could just be one thing. Sometimes it's my sons, sometimes it's my children. Sometimes I'll turn on the TV, or sometimes I'll just see an advert or a poster. I could be out and see a poster, a billboard poster, and go, "That's so silly," and it gives me an idea for a sketch or an idea for a play or something comes to me overnight. So it's just, I think, because I'm an artist daily, I'm looking around as I'm chatting to you, but I'm going to be walking around or looking around my house and just see things and go, oh my gosh, that, or oh my gosh, this. And, um, and that's just a constant thing. But I think what's really important, I guess, within the inspiration is that when you're inspired, the circle that you have around you is really important. And I'm very blessed to have a very good circle around me of people that I guess just feed my flame, but also, don't make me burn crazy. They don't make me spread my flame in a wild way.
Right.
You know what I mean? They let my fire burn, but
Absolutely.
they don't let it get wild.
Yeah, it's a controlled
Yeah, yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, bro. Final question from me. How do you define success and how has that evolved over time?
Kin, this is so crazy because I was on a job today for it's a new TV show that I can't talk about, but I was on a job today and we
Okay,
were
right.
having a conversation after me and another writer on the show who is a friend of mine, and we was talking about this thing, success. And I was saying that, you know, in a few years I'm gonna be at an age where I feel like I should have done this and I should have done that and I should have done that. And we said, how do you define success? And now I look at success different, man, because the goal post is always changing, especially in the career. But there's so many other things like I've got children that are happy, that are clothed, that are fed. I've got a beautiful wife, you know, I've got a home. You know what I mean? I have these things that I didn't think I would have at this stage in my life. So success is defined by how you feel. It's not defined by just your bank balance. I think it's defined by your character. I think it's defined really, if I'm honest, this is the hard thing about success and what I'm going to say. Success is defined by the people who speak about you when you're not in the room. That's how success is really
Absolutely.
defined. If you're not in the room and people are speaking good of you, then you are a success. You're a success to your community. You're a success to your country, your heritage, your people, your family. And that's the main thing. You know, your reputation will precede you. And so I believe that I'm living in that way.
Absolutely. I love that so much, man. And you know, the older we get and the more experiences we have, we realize that what we thought was success in the past is no longer
I'm
success for
telling
us.
you, man, it changes, bro.
Absolutely. All right, bro. I am so happy to have met you. I'm so happy to have had this conversation with
Bless
you.
you.
I really enjoyed our time together. I want to tell you that you are St. Lucian, right? From a St. Lucian who was born in St. Lucia, you are St.
Thank
Lucian.
you.
And we as St. Lucians are very proud of you.
Bless.
We are very proud of what you're doing. We're very proud of what you're doing for our island. And, you know, if or when you come down, let's link up, man.
Oh, 100%. I'm hoping to come down next year. That's the aim.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So this has been another Game Changers episode. And to thank you guys for coming on and listening, remember to like and subscribe. Game Changers is available wherever you get your podcast. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, and we're also on Spotify. Anyhow, as usual, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you next time. Stay hungry.
Bless up.
Bye bye.